During a camping trip with my husband and his family at a secluded lake in New Mexico, our group of about 10 people, along with another group of 6 at the neighboring campsite, experienced a chilling encounter. Nightfall had settled, and both groups were engaged in typical camping activities, roasting s'mores, enjoying a few drinks, and sharing stories. Suddenly, a disembodied cry pierced the night air, resembling the distressing plea of a little girl in need. Strangely, both groups were certain of hearing the same haunting voice. With a shared sense of concern, we decided to join forces and search the area together, despite knowing that no children were part of either group. Behind our campsites lay a field, and as we ventured into it, we collectively witnessed an eerie sight. Standing approximately 100 feet away in the field was a tall, slender figure, luminously white in the darkness. Its height suggested around 6 feet, and an unsettling aura surrounded it. Intrigued and unnerved, we cautiously approached the figure. As we drew nearer, the enigmatic entity began to retreat, vanishing into the cover of the trees. Our combined sense of curiosity and trepidation lingered, and throughout the night, the haunting cries of what seemed like a distressed little girl persisted, making sleep an elusive companion. The mystery of that spectral encounter remained with us, leaving an indelible mark on what was meant to be a tranquil camping experience. The echoes of that night's eerie events would continue to ripple through our memories, intertwining the ordinary with the inexplicable, forever etching the remote. Early in my career, as a psychiatric nurse, I found myself working at a residential mental health facility where one of our residents presented a truly enigmatic case. This individual, an elective mute, had seemingly chosen not to speak, though there were no apparent medical reasons for this peculiar silence. What made the situation even more mysterious was that, earlier in his life, he had been quite vocal and appeared perfectly ordinary aside from his towering height of close to 7 feet. The resident's past was marked by an abrupt disappearance. Raised in the Deep South, he had joined the military at 19, only to vanish one night. Declared AWOL, he was eventually deemed missing and declared dead. A decade later, a 7-foot-tall man walked into a VA hospital emergency room in my Midwest locale, claiming, "My name is Marion Ducking, a pseudonym, and I've been dead for 10 years. Those haunting words marked the last time he ever spoke. Cloaked in dust and clad in the same clothes reported on the night of his disappearance, he carried no identification, and his social security number remained untouched. Despite identifying him through fingerprints, notifying his family yielded an unexpected response they had already mourned their lost loved one, adamant that the person claiming to be Marion could not possibly be him. They demanded no further contact. Marion's days were spent in ceaseless pacing, his mouth moving as if in conversation, yet no sound escaped. A disconcerting habit of throwing his head back in silent laughter, combined with the inability to emit even a breath, added to the mystery. Various medications proved ineffective, and occupational therapy made no impact on his repetitive actions. On my final day at that facility, my lasting image was of Marion pacing in the parking lot, his head thrown back in that haunting mimicry of laughter. Reflecting later, I pondered the possibility of dealing with a ghost all along. Even now, years later, the enigma of Marion's existence lingers. Number 3. When I was 16, my mom, my 20-year-old sister, and I embarked on a cross-country road trip. Late one night, we found ourselves in need of gas and a bathroom break, so we pulled into the only rest stop within a 200-mile stretch along the interstate. When we got there, everything felt wrong. We'd been on the road for days and seen many rest stops at night and had never been afraid until then. My mom and sister went inside and I stayed in the car. I heard the teenagers say they were creeped out and couldn't get the pump to work, and they left in a hurry. I was watching the car in front of us, and the two men had not moved at all. Not an inch. They weren't talking. They weren't on phones. They were just standing there, still as stone. My sister and Mom came running back out to the car, and when they got in, the two men slowly turned to look at us while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies, and I swear to fucking shit, we all saw the same thing. They had eyes dark as pitch and empty. Truly empty. Not black. Not reflecting any light at all. Just a void. We sped out of there and didn't stop until we were in the next city. The worst thing about the entire experience, we couldn't find the place on any map. We knew exactly which spot on the interstate to look, and we couldn't find it on Google Maps or any paper map we had. We even asked locals about the creepy gas station out on that stretch of road and got only confused looks. We've traveled on that interstate since, and there is no rest stop. Number 4. It came for us in the graveyard. We found ourselves navigating through a sprawling graveyard in my friend's dilapidated Subaru, its worn exterior seemingly a testament to its age. After a brief stop, we descended down a hill and stumbled upon a tranquil pond. On the other side, an eerie figure emerged, completely black, with only the silhouette of a man sporting an antiquated top hat discernible. In an act of naive friendliness, we waved and called out a greeting, only to be met with an unresponsive stare. Abruptly, the figure leapt to its feet, traversed the water, and vanished midway across the pond. Panic set in, and we sprinted back to the car. Our escape, however, was hindered by the Subaru's refusal to start. A peculiar banging sound echoed intermittently from the rear of the car, yet no visible source could be identified in the darkness. Attempts to call for assistance were futile, as none of our phones had any signal. In the state of eerie silence, we grappled with the car for the next 30 minutes, all the while sensing an oppressive weight enveloping us. Upon finally coaxing the car to life, we sped out of the graveyard with a sense of urgency. Exiting through the gates, our phones instantly regained signal. What remained certain in our minds was that an inexplicable force, beyond the realm of the natural or human, had been present in that graveyard.